Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Snakebite. Super excited for this Halloween episode. A little bit of a spooky week for the last week of Florida Southern sports, but it's a great time to bounce back. Men's soccer we planned during our production time, and we'll have a lot more to highlight at the end of the show as well, but let's roll that intro. And we can't start the show without talking about the best team on campus, the back-to-back conference champions, the Florida Southern men's cross-country team, led by the likes of Christian Giller and Christopher 𝙏𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼𝙆𝙀. Leading the way for the Mocs was previously mentioned, Christian Giller leading from the jump in his dominant 24:44 time over the 8K distance and 18-second victory. Giller was the first Moc since 2010 to be the conference runner of the year, individual champion, and member of the team champion, and first Moc to do so at home since 2009. This is also the first back-to-back conference championship for the Mocs since the 2009-2010 two-season run, and Giller wasn't the only Moc who shined through, with Christopher 𝙏𝙀 𝙎𝙉𝘼𝙆 finishing second in the competition with a time of 25:02. Cole Summers having the race of his season, running 25:22 for 5th, Elijah De La Cerda finishing 8th, and Josh Craver finishing 11th. The Mocs had 8 individuals in the top 20 and 10 in the top 25 in what was more than a dominant victory. The women had a great day too, though, shocking many while getting their best finish since 2009, finishing second overall by just a point over dominant University of Tampa program, who won the conference just last year. Leading the way for the Mocs was Emma Musante, who finished 5th overall, with Ellie Fluman following closely behind in 7th, and Emma Pfeiffer in 11th, as well as Cheyenne Young in 13th, rounding out the all-conference team members. Both teams have a break in racing before they'll return to their home away from home, also known as Huntsville, Alabama, for the South Region Championships.
The women's soccer team had a busy week this past week, playing 3 games in 5 days. Last Wednesday, they took on crosstown opponent Polk State in a friendly game that ended with the Mocs winning 5-0, with 1 goal by Ashley Schimberg, Jasmine Adames, and Gabby Madrid, with 2 goals also by Bria Weldon. This past weekend, the Lady Mocs had their senior night taking on the Sharks of Nova Southeastern at Barron Field in a hard-fought game between 2 teams vying for an in-conference win. The Mocs dominated play early, and the first half ended 0-0, but in the second half, things heated up. The Mocs worked hard, getting 8 shots on goal in comparison to the Sharks' 5, but unfortunately, the game ended in heartbreak with Nova scoring in the 86th minute, and with little time to react, the game ended 1-0. The Mocs will look to regroup as they take on number 2 in conference and number 25 nationally ranked Embry-Riddle during our production time. So for results, make sure to check out fscmocs.com.
Men's soccer continues their run-in for regular season conference play in what has been an ever-competitive Sunshine State Conference. After our last episode on the Snakebite, the Mocs went on the road and grabbed a 1-1 draw thanks to freshman forward Sonny Albert at their rival Rollins College. Their last result was a 3-0 loss on the road to Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale, and the Mocs found themselves down just 1 at the half and held on valiantly for the majority of the second half as they battled for an equalizer, but goals in the 82nd and 89th minute sealed the deal for Nova and locked the game away. Sitting on 4 points in the conference ranks and in 10th place, the Mocs are still within reach of the 8th postseason slot as 3 teams sit above them, tied on 7 points. One of these teams is their senior night opponent, the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University Eagles, and that game will be happening at the time of the filming today, Wednesday, October 30th. And men's soccer will be celebrating 10 seniors as part of this graduating class, and they will be looking for a statement win to continue their fight for a postseason appearance and give their supporters a reason to remember. Kickoff at Barron Field is set for 7 p.m., and the senior night festivities will begin at 6:30 p.m. For results, check fscmocs.com.
The hockey team took on the number 1 ranked USF Bulls last weekend, and it was not pretty. The Mocs dropped the Friday game 14-2 in certainly a game to forget. On Saturday, the Mocs put up more than a fight, but still came up short in a 9-7 loss. The hockey team will look to take out their frustrations on rival University of Tampa this Friday.
The volleyball team ran into some adversity last week, going 0-3 in conference play. They lost 2-3 to Eckerd, got swept by Nova Southeastern, and lost 1-3 against Florida Tech. But this coming week will be a test for the volleyball team as they have cooled off after their hot start But in their most recent matchup against Eckerd earlier this week, they were able to take care of business, coming out on top 3-1 due to a monster performance from transfer Sandra Sasaki, who had a team-leading 21 kills, her most as a mock. Volleyball will return to action Friday in their 6th consecutive road game when they take on the Rollins College Tars, who the Mocs have a 21-game unbeaten streak against.
Men's tennis returned to action at the YTF Fall Invite, where over 3 days of competition, the Moccasins had standout performances in both singles and doubles play. In the A singles bracket, Sam Frizzell and Mario Garros put on impressive performances, making it all the way to the main final where they faced off. Chris 𝙏𝙀 also found success, winning his first 2 rounds before falling in the quarterfinals to a 3rd-set tiebreaker. The Mocs had 10 players competing in the A bracket, with Frizzell, Garros, and 𝙏𝙀 winning in 2 sets in the first round, and Bosko Boskovic bounced back after a first-round loss, winning the A consolation final with an 8-3 victory over teammate Eduardo Melindo. Hunter Nussbaum headlined the B singles bracket, reaching the main final, while Jaden Thompson took the difficult path to winning a final, making it through the consolation rounds and finishing on top. Frizzell and Nussbaum advanced to the doubles quarterfinals, where they were defeated 8-5 in a very competitive match. Boskovic and Melindo won their first-round match before ultimately being defeated by a St. Leo pairing. Meanwhile, Ryan Rajakar and Gabriel Jornet advanced to the quarterfinals, but ultimately fell 8-4. The Mocs will finish their fall season at the ERAU Invite, hosted by Embry-Riddle in Daytona Beach on November 1st through the 3rd.
The women's tennis team wasn't left out on the fun, also attending the YTF Fall Invite, where they found heaps of success. The entire roster participated in this tournament, with almost everyone finding success. In singles play, Kennedy Brown, Vivian Charvatova, Emily Genuine, and Anniki Behrendorf made it to the round of 16, but the Mocs with the most success on the day were the top 2 seeds in the tournament, Olivia Bryant and Rania Schuerman. Both Bryant and Schuerman dominated opponents to reach the final, where they faced off against each other, with their match being pushed to a later date. In the consolation round, we saw Beatriz Costa battle back after losing the opening round to later fall in the consolation final. In doubles play, we saw familiar Florida Southern dominance, with every duo making it through the first round of competition, including Kennedy Brown and Kelly Claren, who made it all the way to the final, which they unfortunately lost 8-1. They have one more competition before the end of the semester, as they host FSC Play Day November 2nd and 3rd at the Winnie Warden Tennis Center.
Men's golf was back on the green this week, competing in the Citrus Intercollegiate. At the Citrus Intercollegiate, the Mocs took 9th overall out of 16 teams, with Ryan Miller leading the way, finishing 9th out of 84 competitors with a score of 220. Max Burrell was just behind in 10th place with a score of 221. Dante Grapuso ended up in 25th place, 2 strokes ahead of fellow Moc Colton Schwartz. Schwartz, with an impressive second day of competition, was able to jump 30 spots during the final 18 to end up in 35th place. Clay Tucker and Tyler Mistretta brought things to a close for the Mocs, with Tucker coming in 56th and Mistretta in 68th. The Citrus Intercollegiate concluded a disappointing fall campaign for the men's golf team that they will look to regroup and bounce back from when they return to play at the Matlock Collegiate Classic in February.
And you heard me mention it last week, but now the Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classic is fully upon us. The number 19 Florida Southern men's basketball team will be opening their season during it at Saturday night at 8 p.m. at the Jenkins Fieldhouse against reigning national champs and number 1 team in the country, Minnesota State University. Jaden Booth, the MVP of the last 2 Small College Basketball Hall of Fame Classics, will be making his return to the court with a number of other notable returners and transfers for the Mocs. The tournament will be can't-miss basketball, with the best teams from all around the country showing up. 4 out of the top 10 teams will be in attendance, including 2 teams who battled in the national championship last year, the previously mentioned Minnesota State and Nova Southeastern, to pair with 6 total in the top 25 and 4 schools who are receiving votes. For all information regarding the event, go to smallcollegebasketball.com, and to watch the games, go to the Sunshine State Conference Digital Network or fscmocs.com. I'll be on the call, and I hope you'll be watching. And that'll be it for this week's edition of the Snakebite. Couldn't be more excited for this coming week of Florida Southern sports. We have a lot coming for you in the tail end of this semester and going into that spring semester, so make sure to stay tuned.
Happy Halloween.